Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Horseshoe Show here on Surge Sports TV. I am your host, Jack Rizzo. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight here on my show. Supposed to do it last night, but had some things to catch up on, so pushed the show to tonight. But still, we're going to have a great show tonight. Again, this show is strictly based on Colts content. We're going to cover last week's game against the Rams and preview this week's game against the Tennessee Titans. So get ready for nice segment with me today. Really excited to do our show. Eli and I will have our predictions for week 5 tomorrow night. So it should be a great show. As you can see, my captions here on the show are in pink to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month, since it is the month of October now. So want to go ahead and support that. Thank you to everyone who has joined so far. Feel free to comment anything whatever you guys want to comment. I'll be more than happy to read it and share it on the screen. And let's get right into it. So the Colts suffered their second. They're now 0-2 at home to begin the season after falling to the Rams 29-23 last Sunday in overtime. Second straight week the Colts had played an overtime game. Did not go their way this week. Unfortunately, did not see a chance for the Colts to get the ball as the Rams went right down the field. Capped off by a Puka Nacua touchdown reception, the first of his career, to give the Rams the victory in overtime. It was certainly a tough loss. But before I break down the Colts' loss to the Rams, let's first talk about the elephant in the room. Jonathan Taylor, the guy who has been the center of attention for the Colts, at least throughout training camp and throughout the preseason. Things have quieted down ever since the regular season started. Most of the news about the Colts have been about Anthony Richardson and Matt Gay's performance in Week 3. But now that Jonathan Taylor is back, the talks about him have started to reemerge. So for the first time since June, Jonathan Taylor spoke to the media today. Unfortunately, it was not live streamed, so we were not able to watch it live. But he did speak to the media, and spoke for about 15 minutes. Again, we're all very anticipated to see what would happen because, again, it's the first time we've seen him speak in months, and the first time we've seen him speak since all these rumors, these tensions have been, become public information. So it was certainly interested to see what he had to say today. Ultimately, the press conference, Taylor deliberately avoided really talking anything about his contract talk or the situation between him and the Colts. Basically just saying that he's healthy and that he's ready to go and be on the field. Said a couple of interesting things, like if I wasn't committed to being a Colt, I wouldn't be here. Some other things. And my guy Luke is in here again. Thank you Luke for joining. Hi Jack, where's Eli? Okay, Luke. So in case you don't know, this is a different show. This is the Horseshoe Show. This is my show. This is the show I do on my own. Eli and I will be back tomorrow night for our predictions video, but in case you didn't know, I have a show on my own, which is strictly covering content for the Colts. Eli and I's show is for the NFL as a whole. But anyways, back to the Jonathan Taylor situation. Really deliberately avoided talking about his contract situation or the relationship between him and the Colts. Just saying that he's ready to get back on the field. He's feeling healthy. First time since December of 2022 that Jonathan Taylor's engaged in any football activities. Was full in practice today. There was a Colts decided to cancel practice yesterday, going with a walkthrough. Probably because they played back-to-back overtime games, so want to keep themselves healthy, and they certainly need to. The injury report is pretty big, which I'll get to in a second. But it's great to see Taylor out there practicing. Hopefully we can see him for the Sunday against the Titans. If he does play, probably will be on a snap count. Just try to ease him back in there. But we'll have to see, though. But there's no difference. So when Jonathan Taylor's on the field, he makes a huge difference to this offense. And a backfield with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor could certainly be really fun for the Colts. All right, let's talk about the Colts lost last week to the Rams, 29-23 in overtime. It has now been almost a full calendar year since the Colts' last winning game at Lucas Oil Stadium. Specifically, their last week came on October 16th, 2022. A win at home, 34-27 over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, of course, beat the Colts at Lucas Oil in Week 1. This is also, the Colts are 0-2 at home now this year, 2-0 on the road. Certainly interesting about that. Matthew Stafford is now 3-0 in his career against the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. He ripped us apart. I'll get to that in a little bit, though. But let's start off with Shane Steichen, how I thought he did. Well, he did lead a 23-point comeback again. I know the game looked really close. It looked like a back-and-forth game, 29-23 in overtime. No, the Rams were up 23-0 about midway through the third quarter. And Shane Steichen, after playing horrendous for 2.5 quarters, was able to lead the Colts to a big comeback. Scored outscored them 23-0 the rest of the way to force them to overtime. And the Colts even had the ball late in the fourth quarter with a chance to win. But I thought Shane Steichen did a great job there at the end. Some really good play calls. Started to get the tight ends involved. Anthony started running the ball better. Got 3 touchdowns. Much more efficient in the red zone this year than we've been in past years with Frank Reich. The touchdown of Mo Alley Cox, the first one of the day. Beautiful crossing route, and he was able to fight his way in. 2 great play calls on the 2 next touchdowns. The quarterback run from Anthony Richardson on 3rd and goal at the 1 early in the fourth quarter. Nice play call, certainly. And then the touchdown to Ogletree late in the fourth quarter. Maybe his best call this season, deciding to send Nelson in motion, or no, 3rd and goal, I'm sorry. Sending Nelson in motion, looking like it's going to be another run from Anthony Richardson. But he takes a snap, throws it right to Ogletree because the defender is full, thinking Nelson's going to block him, and it's an easy walk-in touchdown. The 2-point conversion, another great call, setting Pittman in motion and having him wide open, rolling out to the right. Really impressed with the way Shane Steichen coach. Colts started to run the ball better late in the game. Again, I love the way he used the tight ends. Receivers need some work. The running game was not as efficient as it was last week. Zach Moss definitely had some times where he struggled. Anthony Richardson broke off really all the big runs for the Colts. And let's talk about Anthony Richardson now. But Shane Steichen, really good game. I mean, led a great comeback, but he also can't put himself in the situation being down 23-0 because you're not going to come back every week being down 23-0. All right, so going on now to Anthony Richardson. Thought he had a really good game. Now the stats don't really tell you that, but if you watch this guy play, we wouldn't have come back without this guy. Overall, though, finished just 11 of 25, so it's a 44% completion percentage. Had 200 yards exactly through the air, 2 passing touchdowns, both of them going to the tight ends. Also had a rushing score. First quarterback, I believe, in modern NFL history to have a rushing touchdown in each of his first 3 games. 4 in specific. He had 2 against Houston in week 2, but AR and his dual threat ability have certainly not disappointed so far. Obviously, there's still some things he needs to work on. Accuracy is still a bit of an issue. Missed a high throw to Pittman early in the game, but love the way AR played. He did lose a fumble. That was his only turnover of the day. But he has only had 2 turnovers so far through the first 3 games. So honestly, I think that's a pretty positive for AR. And again, ran the ball well. 10 carries, 56 yards, had the rushing score, which got us back in the game. Again, I know AR's stat line doesn't look that great, but trust me, he played a lot better than that. Made some crazy throws, got out of some sacks. He did take quite a few sacks on Sunday, but made some incredible plays like the play to Zach Moss in the first 2-point conversion. Made the accurate throws when he needed to. Converted a huge 4th down late in the game to Kylan Granson. Overall, thought he had a great game. He's continuing to get better, looking more comfortable. Hopefully this Sunday he could have a efficient game for 4 quarters for the first time. Because, last week he was great in the second half, not so much in the first half. The game against Jacksonville, it's a little hard to determine, but he definitely did slow down, though, in the second half as the Jags defense did well. And week 2 played 2 drives. It played like 3 or 4 drives, so it's really hard to tell from there. But really impressed with the way AR is playing. He has lived up to everything, and it's only been 2 full games that he's played, and he's already looking fantastic. Can't wait to see him this week against the Tennessee Titans. Should be another challenge, another really good pass rush there in Tennessee. I already briefly mentioned Zach Moss. Had a great game in week 3 at 122 yards rushing. Also caught a touchdown through the air. A bit of a quieter game this week. He did have touch the ball 18 times, just 70 rushing yards though. That's like almost 4 yards to carry. So really not that bad from Zach Moss, but didn't really break off any big runs though. Unfortunately, unlike the game last week in Baltimore, they definitely did struggle to run the ball at times. Made a really bad decision on like a 2nd and 2. Was running to the right, took a few steps back, and ended up losing 6 yards. I think Zach Moss is still a really big piece of this offense. Even when Jonathan Taylor does come back, I still think he's going to be used quite frequently in this offense. I've been really impressed with Zach Moss. A little bit of a disappointing game, though, but not necessarily. In terms of the skill position players, tight ends played fantastic. Drew Ogletree was the Colts' leading receiver on Sunday. 3 catches, 48 yards, and the touchdown. Made a big grab over the middle late. Actually made all 3 of his grabs big. I believe 2 of them came on 3rd down and then had one big one over the middle. I hope the Colts continue to use Ogletree more. He had 1 big catch in both week 1 and week 3. And then he had 3 catches in week 4, including his first NFL touchdown. So congrats to Drew Ogletree. In fact, every Colts tight end that has played this year has caught a touchdown except for Mo Alley Cox, who has now scored for this is the 4th straight year. I don't know why I know this, but this is the 4th straight year that Mo Alley Cox has scored a touchdown in week 4. It's so funny. He has 6 touchdowns in the last 4 week 4 games. So whoever the Colts play in week 4 next year, if he is still here, he is guaranteed to get a touchdown. But thought the tight ends played well. Can't wait for Jelani Woods to come back. He's still on the PUP list, so he's almost certainly going to be out again in week 5. Hopefully he can come back at some point. There's a lot of hype surrounding Jelani. He was the projected week 1 starting tight end. It's going to be a little tougher from now. Like Drew Ogletree is really cementing himself as a great tight end. Granton as well. Wally Cox might be on borrowed time. Will Mallory, a really high draft pick, but the Colts really need Jelani Woods to get healthy. He is a huge red zone piece in this offense and could mean great things for the Colts when he does come back. Now, for the wide receivers, it was not great. Really, none of the receivers had a great game. Now, all 3 of Pittman, Pierce, and Downs had big catches at some point. Pittman had a big grab late in the 4th quarter during the Colts touchdown drive, but outside of that, not really much. Did catch a 2-point conversion, but wasn't really targeted much outside of that. AR missed one high throw to him that maybe he could have caught, but it was still well overthrown. Alec Pierce, one big catch downfield on a downfield throw, which is what we've been waiting for. Took a shot, actually got called for pass interference, and then take a shot to the head. So it was a big play for the Colts. It was funny. AR almost got sacked and then kind of like threw like off bounds, and it was still caught. And then Josh Downs had a big route from there. Just a cannon of a throw from AR. That ball arrived in like less than a second. It was like a 20-yard pass downfield on 2nd and 19. It was a great play to see. Josh Downs almost like becoming like the security blanket for the Colts. Like on 3rd down, they're always looking for him. Fast, he's crafty. Can't wait. Hopefully he can get his first touchdown soon. Maybe this Sunday against Tennessee, but we will have to see on that. But so far for the Colts receivers, only 1 touchdown for all of them, and that came via Michael Pittman in week 1. So not a lot of action there. Receivers really need to step up. AR's got to get some help. So hopefully we can see that from them. Now, the offensive line, down 2 starters. Bernard Ryman was in the concussion protocol, entered on Friday, did not play. Ryan Kelly did not clear protocol in time, so he also missed it. It went just as expected. And when you're playing against Aaron Donald on the other side, who was the best defensive player of his era, struggled mightily. Both Blake Freeland really struggled against him. The Rams front 7 did a great job getting pressure, containing the run game. But the Colts really need the line to get healthy. They really need Bernard Ryman to come back. It's not looking great. He's not practiced each of the last 2 games. He has to, I believe, actually, I don't know if he can clear protocol by Sunday because he has to practice at least twice. I believe Friday is the last day of practice before Sunday. So I think Ryman, by default, is already, I believe Ryman, by that, if that is true, he might be out again, which sucks. Ryan Kelly has practiced, though, so he can clear it by now, and I think he will. But not having the left tackle is going to be another tough challenge. Now, the Titans have nobody on their defense that is even close to the player that Aaron Donald is, but overall, as a complete front 7, the Titans might be top 5 in the league. I'm not even joking. Their front 7 has been good for a very long time. All right, let's talk about the defense now. Defense has been really impressive for the Colts so far this season. Struggled in week 1 against Jacksonville. Actually, they really only collapsed at the end when the offense really started to struggle. Did a great job against Houston in week 2, and only allowed 19 points to Lamar Jackson in week 3. This week, though, not good. They did not get any pressure on the Rams' banged up offensive line, which was certainly concerning. DeForest Buckner was not playing at full strength from what it looked like. He was questionable coming into the game. Definitely played on a limited snap count. So that was certainly missed. Shaq Leonard doesn't seem like back to 100% yet. So certainly concerning. I will say Dio Dangbo had himself one hell of a game, probably the best game of his career. 1.5 sacks, a forced fumble, a pass defended, and 4 quarterback hits. Dio has been playing great. I talked about him being a breakout candidate, and he has certainly done that so far this season. Continues to read bootlegs really well. That's like one of the best things about him. He's a smart guy. Love Dio so much. I'm so happy with how good he's been, and he's showing why the Colts used a 2nd-round pick on him back in 2021. Now, with the lack of pass rush and with our bad secondary, it was inevitable that Matt Stafford picked apart our secondary. Had a crazy game, over 300 yards, only 1 touchdown, but it was the game-winning touchdown to Puka Nacua, who also torched apart our secondary. He is having a crazy year. Puka Nacua, what a story! He is 5th-round draft pick. Really stepping up for Cooper Kupp, and when Kupp comes back, oh man, that might be that could be like a top 3 receiving duo in the NFL. But it was a tough loss, but Matt Stafford made some incredible throws. 4th down in the early of the 1st quarter, delivered a perfect throw to Van Jefferson. 3rd and 9, an all-out blitz from the Colts. A great play call from Gus Bradley, but found Tyler Higbee on like a little zig route for a 1st down. Matt Stafford came into Lucas Oil and he earned the win. Honestly, I have all the respect in the world for him, and I have respect for the way he played because he played like crazy. Like to me, when he is locked in, Matt Stafford is a top 5 quarterback. Can't change my mind. Sean McVay is a great coach as well. So respect to the Rams for coming in, beating us fair and square. And I'm glad we were able to make it a game. But congrats to the Rams. Best of luck to you guys the rest of the season. I really got no reason to cheer against the Rams, honestly. It's just a tough loss for us to take. I will say though, I don't know. I'm not really that big of a Gus Bradley fan. I know he had some great games this season, but the play call on Sunday was bad, especially the first quarter. The Rams just going down the field, the first 2 drives and scoring, especially the last play. A ton of confusion. I think the Colts were trying to call a timeout, but Kenny Moore and I believe Juju Brents were both like were trying to cover Higby, which left Nakua in the middle of the field for like the easiest touchdown I've ever seen. The secondary certainly continues to be a concern for the Colts, and now Dallas Flowers is out for the season with a torn Achilles. Just another blow to the secondary. It looks like Darrell Baker's going to get some more time, if not Tony Brown, Kenny Moore, Juju Brents. Yeah, the secondary is very, very concerning. It is certainly not good. They've got to, I think the Colts have got to go out and sign a veteran quarter. We cannot be throwing Darrell Baker back out there again. He had a horrendous start to the season. So much over he got benched. It was a healthy scratch. So hopefully we see the secondary step up, or our defense has got to get the pressure they were getting the first 3 weeks. Otherwise, we're going to have a long season ahead of us. Not a lot of action on special teams. Quite a few punts early on, but didn't really measure those. Matt Gay, after being the hero in week 3, quiet week 4, missed a 43 or 44-yard field goal in the second quarter, while down like 20-0. It was like, wow, how ironic. He just set the record for most 50-yard field goals in a game, then just misses the first one after that. But I will say, I am happy he missed that kick and not any of the kicks he made against Baltimore, because we need every one of them to win. And all went 1-for-1 on extra points. So overall, interesting game for the Colts. Unfortunate that they could not win, but I'm so proud of the fight, the grit in this team. The future is bright, especially with AR and with JT coming back. This should be a fun season. We've got a great matchup against the AFC South Division rival, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have won in the last 5 against the Colts. Colts have not beaten the Titans since Week 10 of the 2020 season, a Thursday night contest in Nissan Stadium. The Titans have also won 5 of the last 6 at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Colts have been the Titans have been the Colts' kryptonite for the last few years. Colts are going to get back on track. Should be an interesting game. The injury report is extremely big. Bernard Ryman still has not practiced himself for the concussion. I don't think he's going to play on Sunday. I highly doubt it. Ryan Kelly has practiced back-to-back days. I think he should probably get cleared. Shaq Leonard has not practiced the last 2 days with a groin injury. That's certainly concerning. Just knowing his injury history just does not seem good for Shaq. I hope he can play, but I don't know. Just knowing Shaq and his history just feels like he's not going to play. He's going to be out for like 4 or 5 weeks. DeForest Buckner on the injury report again. Quentin Nelson as well. They're both going to play. I pretty much have no doubt about that. Some other players there, but nobody really too significant. Oh, I forgot to mention Quiddy Pace that the concussion protocol is not practice. I don't think he's going to play. Fortunate, though, we have great D-line depth, and Dio should fill in his spot. So that should be interesting, but it should be a great game against the Titans. What's going to be interesting, though, what version of the Titans are the Colts going to get on Sunday? Are they going to get the Titans that are week 2 and week 4, where the offenses look pretty good and the defense has been phenomenal? Or are we going to get the week 1 and week 3 version of the Titans where both those games, they combined to score 0 offensive touchdowns? Defense looked pretty bad against Cleveland. Defense couldn't do enough against the Saints. I will say the Titans defense has been pretty good. So that is certainly it. But this offense extremely inconsistent. They're going to have to rely heavily, I think, on Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, because I just don't really think Ryan Tannehill is that great of a quarterback. Yes, I know he's beaten us in the last 5, but that's not really because of him, though. That's because of Derrick Henry and their defense, really. I just don't think Ryan Tannehill is that good, but he's played well against us. He does just enough to win you games, but again, once you get to the playoffs, though, he becomes pretty much useless because they just lose to higher-powered offenses every year. So it should be an interesting game. Really looking forward to it. The Colts were initially a 1.5-point favorite at home. The spread is now even exactly, so this is really anyone's game. Unfortunately, Colts fans, cover your ears. I've got the Titans winning on the road, 21-17. Really close game. I just think the Titans right now are the better and more healthy team. I really want the Colts to win, especially against the Titans, who I just hate so much. But unfortunately, I just can't pick the Colts just because of how good. I think the Titans are a pretty solid team. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think the Jags and even the Texans are better than them. But unfortunately, I think because of some of the injuries and because of, how good the Titans pass rush is, I ultimately think that the Titans pull this one out 20-17, and the Colts drop to 2-3 on the season and then head to Jacksonville in week 6. And Tennessee heads to who do they play in week 6? Why am I blanking? They play Baltimore in London in week 6. That's right. Yeah, so that's pretty much gonna do it here for the episode of the Horseshoe. Really quick one today. I try to make these episodes quick. I can't listen to myself talk. I can hardly listen to myself talk for like 40 minutes, but thank you everyone for watching. Join Eli and I on the call for the next St. Mary football game against Hasbrook Heights in Hasbrook Heights, 7 p.m. Friday night under the lights. So make sure you watch that. Eli Sports Mono every Saturday morning. The 12th Horseshoe podcast tomorrow afternoon for our week 5 predictions. Eli and I both agree that the Commanders are going to win tonight, so we'll have to see if that comes true. My show every Wednesdays, except for this week, I had to do it on Thursday. Our recap on Tuesday. So thank you everyone for watching. Again, we're putting our captions in pink for the month of October to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We encourage you all to go out and support it. It's a really great cause, and I think it's really important that we celebrate it. I think it's a really important thing to celebrate. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. Jack Rizzo saying so long here on the Horseshoe Show here on Surge Sports TV. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon for our week 3 picks and tomorrow night for the St. Mary's game. Good night, everyone.